Good morning. This is Daybreak, and thank you for staying with us here on the broadcast. The hashtag on X is Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. Let's take a look at some numbers, and this is recent, the year 2024, and in particular Baringo County, one of the affected counties, alongside Turkana, West Pokot and Samburu. And here are the statistics, how we arrived at the 13 people who were killed since January. On the 9th of the new year, bandits killed 3 members of one family, a father, a mother and their 3-year-old child in Chemoy area in Baringo North constituency during a morning attack. And still on the same day, on the 9th of January, still the same day, 2 people were killed, 1 student and a herder at Natan area in an evening attack. The morning and the evening in a day in Baringo North constituency, one of the counties affected by the insecurity in the North Rift. On the 13th, 4 days later, Chemoy deputy head teacher was killed at night by bandits while coming from school. That led to condemnation from the leadership from that region and also security heads because of what has happened, and thereafter leading to the government's further commitments of pacifying the region. On the 28th of the same month, 1 person was killed in an ambush at Ngaratuko. This again adding up to the number of those who were killed as a result of insecurity in the region. And going forward to the month of February, that is on the 10th, at Kagir, blind head teacher killed, which had sparked a lot of protest during his send-off, and this leading to again further calls for the government to enhance and upscale the security in the region following the attacks that had targeted different persons in the community. On the 21st, 1 more person was killed, a 59-year-old man at Yatia in Baringo North constituency in the county of Baringo. And coming to the 22nd of February, 1 person was killed, an NPR in Nosukro in Baringo South constituency in the county of Baringo. Now, the numbers have been on the upscale trajectory. On the 26th, 2 more people were killed, and they were children in Yatia, which led to people fleeing the area, and this was one of the recent attacks. Now, the consequence of this was that parents were unable to send their kids to schools or even go about their other businesses because of fears over insecurity, and this in turn having an effect on their livelihoods, and the call for the government to further intervene. The total, therefore, killed in Baringo North is 11 constituency, and Baringo South 1. Now this adds up to 12 people who were killed in the whole county. And this is now the question. Remember, this is just a representation of the attacks that have been happening across the counties that I've earlier on mentioned, Samburu, West Pokot, Turkana, and in Baringo counties, and the government's commitment, but the answers that have not been forthcoming. So let's seek the answers as to what needs to be fixed in terms of then going forward, how we can get the solutions to these problems. And first to you, retired Brigadier Ahmed Mohamed, we have seen disarmament policy by the government, tough rhetoric and stance, disturbed and dangerous in these areas as described by the Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki. 1 year ago, we had similar discussions here, but still we seem to be having the same problems. It's deja vu altogether, is it? What needs to happen?
Good morning, Ayub. Thank you very much. We were actually here 1 year ago discussing the same thing. And we thought that at that time, we found the answers and something will be done. Unfortunately, our biggest challenge, as always, is being reactive. The government is always reactive and never coming in and staying on to find sustainable and long-term solutions. We react, come in, show very big presence with all the arms and vehicles and all that. Then after a time, we pull back. What we need, once again, is a permanent solution. The permanent solution is the government to take charge. And I should mention from the outset, I don't blame our people. I don't blame the locals at all, despite all blaming each other. The sole responsibility, provide peace and security in this country, 100% rests with government. And we shouldn't point a finger at anybody. The government is well armed. The government is in charge. The government has intelligence sources. They have all that they need. They just need to come in. And also, remember, for them, they have that element of monopoly. If I'm a local and I'm carrying an arm, I will hide and do my things behind scenes. For the government, you come out openly, carry your arm openly and arrest anybody we suspect. Not that he's carrying, suspect.
Yeah.
Interview him and take necessary action. We don't do that at all. We come when there's a crisis. We come at that time, harass locals for a short time, and then after some time, disappear from the scene and wait for the next attack and then come back. I'm sorry, on this part, the government has failed us.
Okay. Dr. Malcolm Lochodo, as a peace campaigner with vast experience of the region, is the government's knee-jerk reaction pushing more people into the arms of these bandits who are causing insecurity? Are we losing the war when it comes to the mindset instead of winning it on the psychological front of getting these people on the side of the government and be the initiators of peace in the region?
Thank you very much, Ayub. I think so far so good. I think we are losing the battle because people are starting now to take security into their own hands. They feel like the government is doing less and less every day. Regardless of Operation Maliza Uhalifu, we are not seeing uhalifu being eradicated, but we are seeing an increase of uhalifu within the community. And in so doing, the government just comes when they hear that there's an attack, as an expert has just alluded to. They only appear, and once they're just reactionary, they only appear when there is an attack, and then they retreat back. They retreat into their camps, and they wait for the next attack to happen. You see now, in so doing, you find people in the North Rift, they're arming themselves. The question is, where does the gun come from? Where does the bullet come from? Who is funding all this activity? I think this is the bigger question in the room that we need to ask. Because if the government is not providing enough security, then what do we have to do? And who are these bandits or criminals? Where are they coming from? Are they from within? Are they from outside? And if they are from within, is it that the government has failed to eradicate them, to get them out of the field? It is true, the government has failed, and they have to do more than they are doing right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Josephine, coming to you then. When we had seen the deployment, interesting, I'll come to Brigadier as well on this retired, on the incorporation of the Kenya Defence Forces, but do the security agencies embody you in terms of intertwining your efforts to reach out with regards to now winning over the people and addressing this problem? Because we seem to be having this perpetual conversation on banditry and insecurity in these respective counties, but we seem to be far away from the answers. Do they engage you? Do they seek your expertise in terms of understanding the people, the language, the culture, and what drives this problem?
Thank you, Ayub. Actually, as my brothers here have well stated, that the state has failed because if you look at this thing retrospectively, like how did banditry begin in our communities? Because it didn't start as banditry. It started as raids, cattle rustling, the normal. And it used to be a cultural thing. And I like the way you're asking, like, are they involving us? They are not, because as Brigadier here said, it's reactive. So what we've seen is the people, especially the elders from then, that the cattle raiding was well organized. The young men would be organized and be sent on a specific time to raid, not every time. And the cattle will be taken because we are trying to replenish or restock. Why? Either because of a big drought or disease. So it was not a daily occurrence. But now what we are looking at, it has evolved. It has evolved. And with evolution, we have seen that it is even becoming like it's being fueled in so many other things. Like we are hearing the guns, the proliferation of the guns, like the communities that used to use spears and arrows and stuff to do cattle rustling are now using sophisticated guns that the government does not even have. Because I remember in the situation of a few years ago, the Barago incidents, where we lost so many police officers. The claim by the government was the community had sophisticated guns than the government. Then why can't the government buy those sophisticated guns? And they have the mandate, they have the obligation to provide security, to defend, and to promote social justice, human rights within the community. So the community is not being involved as such, because the same elders who used to organize this traditional cattle rustling are still not being talked to, because the government, the state is now seeing everybody as a bandit. including those who are supposed to give information. Of course, the women and children are bearing the brunt, where we are now having the women being displaced, homes are being torched. It's not even anymore banditry. I call it terrorism, because you come and torch someone's home, children, you're killing, you're shooting children going to school, and this is all showing that there is a gap in how the whole thing is being handled.
Okay. Wycliffe, the Interior CS this week met with the leadership from Baringo County. Today, I understand that he is meeting the leadership from Samburu County. But it seems that the talk is not cascading down as required from the boardroom discussions to the people, as she said, the involvement of the local elders who have a better understanding of the region. Then is the time now ripe enough for the top leadership of the country to convene these meetings, minus the political class, but with the elders, and talk with them, establish that sort of two-way communication channel, and lock out the political players? Because if they take the message to the ground, the people seem to be dead against that for manipulation purposes politically. So is it time to engage the elders directly and bypass this bureaucratic political leadership that often does not give birth to the required results?
Thank you, Ayub Abdi Kadir. For one, like my counterparts here have alluded to, there is need for the government to relook at the entire issue of banditry in Baringo and other counties that are affected in depth. That initially it was cattle rustling. It is now banditry. And I want to share with the nation at this point that we no longer look at this as banditry per se, because in the traditional African behavior, they used to steal cattle and they used not to harm children, mothers, the elderly, and so on. But lately, they kill indiscriminately. They even kill the disabled, like you saw the teacher from Kagir who was killed. And I think now it's about time we look at this matter in the depth of what it is. Like you said, I feel, even when you refer to the political leadership, I feel there is lack of political goodwill to start with. Because in Baringo, for instance, where I come from, there is anarchy. The bandits are ruling. They are taking charge. They expand. They are pushing the communities further into probably, like we talk now, as we speak, Saimosoi Ward is almost empty. The bandits kill, they steal livestock as they push the community further. And when the community go further, they occupy that place. And they graze with comfort. The same case in Arabal, in Baringo South. They graze, they rule with impunity. So you are right to say that it needs to be cascaded down to the leadership, the local leadership. However, Ayub, you also need to take note of one thing as you talk about cascading. That a bandit, we have asked ourselves, who is a bandit? A bandit is someone's child. A bandit as a relative. A bandit as a chief. A bandit as an MCA. A bandit as a member of parliament. Okay. So bandits are known. And we need to zero down to them. If we cascade it down, we will finally know at the bottom of the pyramid, we will know who the bandit is. So it needs to be cascaded down. So the society bears some degree of responsibility? It bears, because they are known. The societies know. And sometimes we have thought radically, and I'm sorry to say this, that we now need to be punitive to the locals. The locals, the people who are in the neighborhood, the people who are family members, because the bandits are even children below 18 years. Okay, what are these punitive measures? We live in a country governed by the rule of law, remember? That is still within the rule of law. When I say punitive, I mean we have to press a button in the family level so that they present the bandit to us. Because they know the bandit, they even know the gun, where it is, they know them. What we have also to... then why not win the hearts? I mean, why not then come up with
a very elaborate framework of engaging the community instead of the few top leadership, the politicians, yet the majority who are at the bottom pyramid and who have this information can be won over and they can give you that information that you require. Why not take the battle to them?
You are right to say we take the battle to them, but even the political leadership have their lion's share of this matter. Like they control their people, even from the bandit-prone areas. They have a say as far as how their people react to situations. That is why when the leadership from Tiati and West Pokot is summoned to record statements, they cry to their people that we have been summoned to record statements, and their people react in the ground. So that our leaders are being targeted, you know, they get defended by their leaders.
So it's the normal case of Kenyan politicians manipulating the masses.
Yes, but just so that I don't lose track on that point, we need to know that a bandit is not a dog, is not a cow, is not an animal. A bandit is a human being who is known by the locals, and that bandit should be followed to the local level.
All right. Brigadier Retired, President William Ruto pledged to address this. He adds up to the list of other heads of state who had committed the government's guarantee to end this once and for all. The government issued an amnesty to surrender firearms, a 3-day. He ordered the joint security force that also incorporated the Kenya Defence Forces. I mean, if we had deployed the military that is part of this special security operation, 1 year later, why are we not seeing the results?
Ayub, what we have is lack of serious commitment. Lack of serious commitment. Remember, we have 47 counties in this country. We have the provincial administration in every county, which has got a security committee that meets monthly. We have structures from the president all the way to the headman in the village who understand everything all the way down. And therefore the government, its long arm, are able to stretch their arm all the way down and get to the bottom. Now, on the same token, we have intelligence agents. We know everything. We know everything. Our problem is lack of serious plans and lack of serious commitment. Add on to that the element of impunity. There are people who are untouchable. So that when the local something happens and you take action, they come in defense of that. We know very well, and I've always said this even 1 year before, the problem starts from within the county, each community, from the leadership to the bottom. The leadership support this. Politicians support this. In fact, they give arms to go and buy weapons. Local elders, we know very well. They even have ceremonies where they call those boys and pray for them when they are going and tell them, go there and hit there. Where is the government? Where's the long arm of government? Where are you in presence? What we have, therefore, unfortunately, is ungoverned spaces where the government is not there and somebody else is in charge. And therefore, as was said by Wycliffe, they push you out, they clear the space, and they govern. When there's one attack, you come in chasing them. They put their arms down and end up where? In the villages. They didn't come from Uganda or Sudan. No, they are our people. They terrorize with impunity. They are supported. They are funded. They are given arms. Of course, add the issue of illiteracy and the poverty and all that. But that all, we are saying, a government in charge will take care of that purely. Go in, as was said by Wycliffe. They are known. The elders are known. The people are known. Arms where they are known. Go and take them out. And don't do it when there's an attack. Do it when there's no attack.
So how then are we going to it? Because we deployed. The understanding I get is that there is a lacking commitment on the part of government because the structure can establish where the problem is. But we are not getting the answers.
But Ayub, you have just put it very well. I've said this before. Don't go in when there's a crisis. Come in when there's peace. When there's peace is when you gather intelligence. When you win hearts and minds, you know who is who 100%, and you know what he's doing. For instance, let's say in the village, I had 3 cattle. All of a sudden, I have 50. The chief knows where they came from. The elders know where they came from. Who is asking? So hold them accountable. Our chiefs, our elders must be held accountable. By who? By the government. When the government comes in, reactive, and walks away, you have no answer. It must be a 24/7 overwatch. 24/7 presence. 24/7 winning hearts and minds. Not in crisis. In fact, if you do intelligence well,
yes,
you'll know when the attack is due. It's a case right now where we're told that KDF preempted an attack. How? They had something. They went on the road where the people were coming, and they waited because they were there and they had the information. Now, if you just sit and wait until the attack comes in and go in, you're a failure.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Ochode, then we'll come to the socio-economic aspect and the question of then how we can address the systematic exclusion and the feeling in that region of people who feel that they have been marginalized by successive governments. However, then how do we end this perpetuity from peace campaign initiatives such as yours, coupled with the government's efforts that can be diplomatic at times and can be brute force if need be, depending on the scale of the attack, which of course calls for effective response. But then how can the perpetuity of this problem be ended?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to pick from where Brigadier just left. I think, in my view, we can end insecurity. I believe it's very simple. But the issue here is the whole aspect of security or insecurity is business. Because we have so many mushrooming organizations in the name of peace, making peace. But these are shops. These are shops. People are going there to get money, and then for you to purchase goods and services. So in the other side, we need to check who are these peace actors, who are these people who are in which NGOs or even government-funded institutions that are doing peace. Why is it that it's taken this long for peace not to prevail? I'll give you an example. I have been in this for the last 1.5 years now, and I can tell you it's easier to bring peace. What you need to is to activate the structures. We have the local structures, as was said by Daktari. We have local structures in place. And if you activate the local structures, they know who are these people. They are their sons, they are their fathers. They know them very well. And if you get to them, they will be able to bring peace. I have gone to many places like Mosul in West Pokot. I have gone to areas where they are very dangerous and no one would ever be able to go there. I have walked there. I have gone there on foot. When the Turkanas were when there were a lot of raids in Turkana, when there were a lot of killings on the highway of Turkana, from Kitale to Lodwar, I walked on that road, 367 kilometers, walking. I never drove. I walked on those highways. And I talked to these people. So I got to understand what's the problem. There's a lot of psychosocial support that's needed. You have taken my cows, and I'm left poor today. What am I supposed to do? I wait for the government to return the cows. The government is not doing. Solution. I want to provide one. Number one, in as much as the police or the KDF are not doing much, but they also need support. I'm in a situation whereby the police cannot, the NPS or the NPS cannot even go to the interior because the roads are very bad. They cannot access those areas. And the criminals know these roads very well. They know the hideouts. So how can they go there when there are no roads being provided? The choppers are not there even for them to oversee the aerial surveillance. They cannot do it. How can they do it? Sometimes we end up blaming the forces. Well, I see there's also a problem with the government itself, the one who are supposed to finance them to give them that support. And in this doing, we find that even there are also, the police are also handicapped. You saw what happened in Turkana when they were killed on the road, when their vehicles were burnt. They are sons and daughters of some people. And they also have families. We need also to feel for them. Okay. So the government must actually take its responsibility and ensure that they provide for them. And then the politicians. My brother is here from North Baringo. They have to bite the bullet. The problem, in my view, as a peace campaigner, squarely lies with them. They are the people. They elected them. And I believe when I went to the community, they told me, call for me, our politicians. They need to say something to us. They are not doing enough. They have to bite the bullet.
And this is my question, because Brigadier and Josephine and Tobole, if the complaint has been, and this from your experience in doing the work, and you engaged them, and if you did so, and you are welcomed with a great level of hospitality, then there's a problem, is it, when they say you that the politicians are ever absent. Yet, in Nairobi, these politicians convene these meetings with the heads of security, intelligence committees, but they're not conveying that message of getting in touch with the people. Is this vacuum what the bandits are exploiting?
No, I don't think it is the politicians who are creating this so that they can become heroes. When they are called by the DCI in Nakuru for them to record statements, they become heroes. And the following day, we will vote for them because they say we are fighting for you people. But the problem is theirs. They need to come out and tell the people that you need to stop this banditry. I have met a few of them and I've talked to a few of the politicians and I've told them, you need to go to the ground and talk to these people. Because for me, they have welcomed me. And there's no problem. I don't see any Pokot who is bad. I don't see any Turkana who is a bad person. But I squarely blame the politicians. They know even where the guns are coming from. They know where the bullets are coming from. Why can't the government just go for them? They should go for the politicians.
Okay.
Perhaps,
when we get back, we'll get to the break. Come back and proceed. We have time. I'll get you the time to respond to that. And it's disturbing, is it then, that the government knows all this and there is no action. When we get back from the break, we proceed with the discussion and as well get a live link from Nakuru County. My colleague Marianne Nyambura will be telling us more about the long list of politicians that keeps on growing who are summoned by the DCI Rift Valley region, but there seems to be no outcome that substantively addresses the problem in the North Rift counties of Samburu, Turkana, West Pokot and Baringo that are severely affected by the insecurity incidences. The hashtag on X is Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. The discussion will be on and up after the break here on the broadcast with the lady and gentleman here in studio with me. Stay tuned.